Tech companies will spend weeks and okay, hold on. Tech companies, especially startups, will spend weeks debating their logo and their brand colors. Meanwhile, their H1 says reimagining the future of data at scale. That's why messaging is more important than the logo you choose or the brand colors you have. And this is especially true in tech. And I'm going to give you 3 reasons why this is the case. Reason number 1, messaging provides a context in which your offer is valuable. Messaging is just another tech word we use for a story. What story do you tell? What is your thesis? What are your supporting arguments and rationales and reasoning? And fundamentally, what language do you put out to the world that you are offering to put in front of customers, to put in front of investors and people like that would appeal to them? And sometimes those are different things, and we almost always want to appeal to customers. But fundamentally, messaging provides a context in which your offer is valuable. And you can do this a few ways, but fundamentally the way is to tell a story or to have an experience over and over and over again. It's a rare instance, but Chick-fil-A doesn't have to tell me a story because they have delivered exactly what they said they would deliver 99 out of 100 times. And so I don't even check my bag for the honey mustard when I leave. But when I leave other establishments, I'm always going to check the bag to make sure the order is right. But Chick-fil-A has implicitly earned trust through experiential means. You can also earn trust and create value for your solution by offering a clear story. And a story is just messaging, fundamentally. It's what we call messaging. It's what we call positioning. With this new context built, it frames your solution as a solution or the solution to the problems experienced by this customer, potential customer, right? So that's where we're going to get the language and marry these two things. We're going to get the language ideally from the customer to describe their problems. And once people can identify with those problems, then we'll say we have a solution for you. That brings us to our second point, which is messaging gives you a voice and tone, one that people can identify with. The reason this is so important is because generally people want to aspire to the people they see in commercials, or they want to feel how the person in the commercial feels. There is a reason that Mercedes sounds like Jon Hamm.
First is an act of pure alchemy.
There is a reason that the Home Depot sounds like Josh Lucas.
Whatever you're working on, bring it all together.
Josh Lucas's voice has competency in it and capability. Jon Hamm's voice has affluence in it. It is upscale, relatively, or definitely white collar, whereas the Home Depot is definitely blue collar. And both of these things are offering you a tool to make you Jon Hamm or the most capable Josh Lucas. So you want to figure out who your brand sounds like. You can do this exercise very quickly, especially in a room of executives. We do this exercise at Narrative Supply, and I've done it in as fast as 15 minutes before with a group of executives who all agreed on the person's voice that should be representative of their company and their brand. So fundamentally, you want to choose someone. It can be an executive of that company if they have a clear enough voice, or it can be a celebrity that you do or don't have access to. That's totally fine. What a voice and tone provides you, and what it provides Mercedes-Benz, what it provides the Home Depot, is a person to identify with and a language that that person would or would not use. Jon Hamm, for example, would not say, "Oh, that's far out, man, that's radical." He wouldn't use hippie parlance because of the affluency built into his voice and the marketing that he's doing for Mercedes-Benz. It doesn't fit. So when people hear Jon Hamm and see a Mercedes commercial, they kind of want to be Jon Hamm. And that's okay. That's exactly what marketing is meant to do. You are meant to identify with the person in the commercial. They are supposed to have a voice that appeals to you, that maybe uses the same language to describe a problem that you would use. The third reason messaging is more critical than a logo, especially for tech companies, is memorability. Just do it. Think different. Those are words that are, I would say, more powerful than the logo. A logo decorates memory, while words create memory. The memories you have in your head are generally framed as a story that happened to you. And so when we present over and over different stories, or a commercial spot that shows people to think different, just those two words, we know how to behave. We know the ethos of this company. We know how they act on problems. Think of the Apple 1984 commercial, this one.
They shall talk themselves to death, and we will bury them with their own confusion. We shall prevail.
So that lady runs in and she's upsetting the state of things. She's thinking differently, right? So that is exactly that in action. So we might say, if the Home Depot were red in color and had a different, slightly different logo than it had, but if they still had the same capable message in Josh Lucas's voice, would they be as successful a company? I think so. If Mercedes had a different logo than the very famous one they have, and let's say it was an eagle, but they still had John Hamm and they still had an upmarket message, would they be a successful business? I think so. I think messaging is more important than a logo or colors. And I think that's especially true in tech, because we're not walking by on a shelf and we don't have to recognize peanut butter Captain Crunch as being in an orange box. Tech can change its colors, its brand, and even its name sometimes year to year based on its offerings. It can bifurcate, split, and offer different solutions. It can rename things all the time. But fundamentally, do the people who want to buy it identify with the problems you're presenting? And is your solution framed well enough inside of a story that it seems valuable to people who identify with those problems? Not coincidentally, there is an agency committed to helping tech startups and tech companies tell their stories in the best way. And I founded that agency. My name's Adam Lambert. I run Narrative Supply. And if you're interested in getting a good story, solid messaging, and doing it fast for your company, we can absolutely do that. We can do the story of your company, we can do the story of your executives, or we can do both and have that all aligned. We can do it in as fast as 30 days. You can contact us right here at narrativesupply.com. That's narrativesupply.com. See you next video.